Record. There we go. So we're recording from now on. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us again. This is the second of the three. Adam's going to talk about Leeward Mark rounding today. There are a few guests on tonight as well from other clubs, which is really great to see. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Try and stay muted all the time. If you want to raise anything or say hello or whatever, if you use the chat function, I'll relay all that to Adam. If you want to run a video again or whatever, just, chat function would be great. In a second, I'll hand you over to Adam, and then I'll nip downstairs and turn the lights off so that the video will look brighter. So if you hear some off-screen noises, it's me collapsing down the stairs. And at the end, we'll leave the chat room open for 10 or 15 minutes, just so you can have a chat amongst yourselves, if you like. So without further ado, I will change to this camera here.
There. If you'd be kind enough to go and switch the lights off. This one. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Master Chef's on later on, so obviously limited. We're going to discuss the Leeward Mark today, and when we get going, which is now, we will be waiting for Richard to switch the camera over to the other one, I think, because this is quite an important piece of thing, and it's all written down in front of me, and at the moment I can't do anything. All good?
All good.
Roger Dodge. Leeward Mark rounding. Spent a lot of time looking at Leeward Marks. Okay, so it is the gateway to the rest of our race. The start's important. The start's really important. Of course it is. But at the end of the day, we can start in a number of places in the start line. We can choose how we start, whether we start on 4-star or whatever. But the Leeward Mark is kind of the Leeward Mark, and we have to go around a specific point. If we've got a gate, we're lucky we've got a choice of 2 Leeward Marks, but that's about as big as it gets. So it's really important that we set up our Leeward Mark. Why is it so important? Oh, sorry, this evening we're going to discuss why it's important, the practical problems of actually going around the mark, how we plan to go around the mark, tactics, ladies and gentlemen, and other people. Now, if you let's see if we can do this. If you keep an eye on these photographs here in the background, you will see, that's clever here, that it is a video of the Leeward Mark. So you see how this progresses as we go on through the evening. Why so important? Okay, so the whole point about the Leeward Mark is it sets up the subsequent beats. So if we've got ourselves in a good position, we absolutely need to sail away and not throw any time and distance away. If we're in a bad position, it's an opportunity for us to gain places and or distance. Remember, fastest speed, shortest distance. They're the 2 race rules that we live by. So the shorter time we spend on the race course, the better things are going to be. We need to sail in clean air and clean water all the time. That keeps our speed up. Practical problems. I'm just going to bring these up. Okay. It's all about the radius. It's all about how we can turn around this Leeward Mark. So what are the things that help us luff up? Heeling the boat to leeward, pulling the mainsail in, not pulling the jib in tightly, and steering with the rudder. Now we want to steer with the rudder as little as possible because that slows us down. So in a perfect world, if we can take a nice big radius, heel the boat, pull the main in quicker than the jib, steer the boat just gently, pull the boat up as we go around, we're going to have a nice opportunity of going around that Leeward Mark. What changes? Well, sea state will change the way that you can turn the boat. Wind will change the way that you can turn the boat. So if it's a nice light weather day, you can get up to the mark and you can turn it in a boat length. Of course you can. but you can't turn it in a boat length in a 4/6 in 58-foot waves. Where can we practice? We can practice before the start on the given day at anything in the water, a fishing pot, leeward mark, leeward start. I don't care. It's always worth doing at least 1 or 2 just to get an idea of how much we can turn the boat on that day. Don't aim for the mark. So many people aim for the mark. It'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. Remember, we've got this flipping radius turning up. Can't turn until we get to the mark because we're aiming for it. And the minute we get to the mark, we turn. The boat takes its time. It has to take its time. And we end up giving distance away to the guys behind us. So all of a sudden, we've got loads and loads of distance between us and a run line for the next beat. It can be attacked. Somebody can get in there, stop us tacking over to the left-hand side of the race course, or somebody just stop us being happy. So in a perfect world, don't aim for the mark, set yourself up, whatever the radius of the day is, to leeward of the mark. Make sure that you're beating as you go past the mark. Again, in a perfect world, we want to be beating as we go past that mark. It took me long enough to set this up on the little machine, let alone doing it in a boat. And here we go. Boom. And now's the time that we're working really, 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 really hard. So that's what we're trying to do in a perfect world. And one of the things we have to practice, because there's a lot going on in a perfect world, one of the things we have to practice is actually getting this spinnaker down. So whether it's a keel boat, whether it's a 2-man dinghy, even if you're sailing a laser, there is preparation to be done before you get to the mark. Outhaul, center plate, kicker, on a laser at least. Okay, on other boats there might be rate going on. Certainly for us in spinnaker boats, there's this blessed 3/3 sail that's got to come down. So one of the things we've got to do is give ourselves the time to actually get the spinnaker down, because we don't want to be mucking about with anything after we've gone around this leeward mark. When we go around this leeward mark, we want to turn it into beating. So let's, what we're doing here, this is Luke and Twiggy. And Twiggy was doing squirrel barreling, which is fine. It took too long to put the spinnaker in the boat. Pole off, spinnaker still flying. Coming into a little leeward mark. Big long reach. Twiggy's about 8 foot tall. So. And look, he's given himself a little bit of width. Comes around the leeward mark. Not bad. The point being, they prepared everything before they got to that mark. So when we got to the mark, we are turning the mark. So when do we start thinking about going around the mark? When do we actually start thinking about it? So how complicated is our boat? And how many other boats are there that will impact our rounding? So we might actually start thinking about how we're going to round the leeward mark 300-400 yards out from the leeward mark itself. It's not a case of waiting for the 3 boat length zone and then going around that mark. I'm going to say something that I don't really mean, but I do. It's the exit I'm interested in, not the entrance. It's how I get away from that mark. It's how I get away from that mark in that overtaking lane, in that clean zone, clean air, clean water, sailing fast. That's what I want. How I get around it, kind of less worried about. That's a lie. And remember that time passes. So how many helmsmen, crews, put your hands up, how many helmsmen have we had that have said, just keep the kite up for another couple of seconds, we'll gain another few feet here, only to be pulling the spinnaker down as we round the leeward mark or as we pass the leeward mark. And so we actually lose on the rounding of the mark rather than gaining. So here we've got the 2 boats coming down. This is exactly the same as the last thing. The boat on the right-hand side comes in too close. He's obviously in the lead at the moment, but because he can't turn that mark, he ends up dropping down low, whereas the guy on the left-hand side comes round, whips round inside him, and is in the overtaking lane. And this, if there's any time on the race course when you work hard, this is when you work hard to establish and lock in that position that you've got. Right, rules time. So we've got this whole business of the zone. And I want you to just take a little look around wherever you're sitting now. The number of people that think that the zone starts about 6 feet away from the mark. And you get all these calls. The zone is 3 boat lengths away from the mark. If your boat is a 30-foot boat, that's 90 feet away from that mark if you're the first boat going in. If you're in an osprey, that's 17'7" times 3, I'm not doing it, away from that mark. It's a lot further than you think. Put 3 lasers in a row and then put a 4th one in. It's the bow of that laser, the 4th laser touching the transom of the 3rd laser. That's how far away you are from the mark. So we're not very good at doing this whole mark rounding business. Once we've got onto that zone, you have to give, if there's an overlap, you have to give the overlapped boat on the inside room to get around that mark. Don't waste too much time on rules. What am I talking about that for? So we've got an overlap boat here. Or have we? But this is the point of discussion, this whole point right here. When that bow touches that mythical thing, and remember there'll be a chalk line in the water so you can definitely know where you are. And that line there goes from the yellow boat all the way out. If that bow has touched it, that boat is overlapped and the blue boat has room to come into this mark. If the blue boat hasn't broken that line, at this point, even if he gets it when he's in here, at this point, the blue boat is no longer eligible for room going in there. It's this point here, ladies and gentlemen, that it all turns on and off. Okay, I've alluded to it before. What happens after? After you've rounded this leeward mark, after you've rounded the mark, it's really, really important that you concentrate on going as fast as possible. Because you wouldn't want anything like this happening. Now, this probably is never going to happen to you. So you're coming into the mark, we're too close anyway. Oh no, the spinnaker pole's got stuck. Oh, flipping Henry. The kite halyard's got caught as well. Hang on a minute, I'll do that. Look, I'll turn the boat quickly, it'll lose a bit of speed, but we've lost distance already. And now I'll luff up a bit to get a bit closer to the mark, and sailing along here. Who's going to pull a spinnaker sheet in? The guy, I'll do it. It's so easy to lose distance to that leeward mark. And it happens without us even thinking about it. An alternative. The Argentinian rounding. We're going to see an example of this in a moment. Only saw some Argentinian 420 sailors do this at the ISAF was. It was very, very, very good. So nice wide approach. They've got a guide right behind them, as it happens. And what they want to do is make it very difficult for the chap to live with them. So as they come in, they do a good rounding. And then a little bit of a luff just beyond the mark. Just a little one, get themselves half a boat length to windward, making it very difficult for anybody to round in behind them. And just to prove that that actually works in real life, let's go on some actual real video. So this boat here is James, and I was asked to go and do some work with them, and one of the things we talked about was rounding the leeward mark, and there was all sorts of communication problems which we sorted out. Once we sorted that out, we got to this. So this on the solar, this is a proper race, and we've got this big yellow boat coming in, yellow spinnaker coming in, and the leeward mark is just to the right out of the picture. Poles come off, spinnaker still flying. Becky's now crawled all the way under the boat, she's under the foredeck. Now this is a nice big keelboat. Spinnaker coming down, so the foredeck team will work on the spinnaker coming down. Driver's driving, watch his drive.
Okay, main in, Jenny in.
A little bit of a luff.
There. Well done, James. Look how hard that's made it for the next guy behind you to get past you.
And now the guy that's coming behind has got nothing but dirty air.
Excellent work.
And the guy outside the yellow spinnaker has to go all the way around the outside of the yellow spinnaker boat. So quickly. Now then.
Yeah.
This will be exciting. So this is quite a long piece of video. It's 6.5 minutes, but it basically does everything that a Leeward Mark can do. And we start off.
There we have our magnificent off-pig. Mark down here, mark down here, and we've got marks here, so that's good.
Okay, so this is Kevin Phil.
Let's see how we go.
Get the wine out, Kev. Get the wine out, Phil. You look good on this one.
That's perfect.
Leader's privilege.
Oops, let's get you in the picture.
So these guys are in the lead of this race, so they do not want to throw any distance away, because you never know, there'll be a shift later on that allows the second boat to catch up. Spinner goes down nice and easily.
Magnificent work, boys.
Early. Leeward heel. Tiller down, main coming in, jib coming in,
well done.
Pull the boat upright.
Mark. Nice work, boys.
Thank you very much.
Nice work.
And we're just going to let this run, just let this run, just let this run, just let this run.
They'll be all over this like a rash. We could just go up there a little bit, please, so we get that line out. Kevin's just been heading.
Okay, so a little bit bouncy, a little bit flat.
Underneath them all.
Oh, nice bit of heel there, that's all right. And then possibly a little bit too upright.
A little bit of space.
And slipping sideways a bit.
6 out of 10, definitely. So look at the position. Okay, now look at the water, folks. We're quite used to dirty air, but just look at the water being cut up. It'll be interesting to see if we get 4 or 5 boats coming together.
So this dirty water,
and there is
this whole dirty water thing.
Coming in. So
centre plate, your keel, your rudder, your hull, all works through the water.
Great joy being ahead of it with our young Nicholas.
There's Norman coming in. Now we're expecting great things from Norman. Look at this group. Great things from Norman.
Into about the 3-boat zone now.
Hang on, he's not worried about anything but getting around this mark. So again, we're looking for excellence. So a little bit of leeward heel? No. That means we've got to use more rudder.
Turning the boat. Again, it could be cleaner than that.
Slight worrying here. There's all this distance. I'm just worried now that I'll just turn this thing on. No, we're all right. So we could have got half a boat length safer. We could have put more heel into it.
This group here is going to be really interesting. 3 boats coming in. There's definitely an overlap going on here somewhere. Boats pivoting around. The 200 might come on at the back. Now the 200's got everything to gain here. This group is going to slow each other up as they come round, and you can definitely make hay.
So the 200 is 200 yards out, and he's starting to plan. He must be starting to plan. Which is going to be all right in the phantom. Always lovely when you look back or even forward and see a group of boats.
Where do we need to be to escape all this poop up? You don't want to go around the outside of it. If you're going fast, you do not want to be going around the outside of it unless you're fast enough to come out the front bit. Okay, so Richard's going to sail away quite narrowly.
This is a better rounding. Leeward heel.
Richard, thank you very much. That's better.
Wider approach.
Good rounding. So boats overlap, nice positioning from the 200 here.
So the tender's inside.
Has to go around.
Ali and Chris are outside.
Yes, well done, Storm. Well done, Storm.
Straight in there, and then stand by 200.
And well done, the 200 as well. Now, are you going to slip away or are you going to stay away?
So the 200's got a choice of tacking away from that or staying in here. Tacking away would be excellent.
Example. And the next boat that's going to make some gain is the slow-low.
A little bit of a pause here while we wait for the slow-low. Alice had to tack away. She's gone from 3rd going into that 2nd boat, going into that mark, to dropping a boat, dropping 2 boats as she goes around it. So slow-low. Could do with a little bit leeward heel, a little bit close to the mark. half a boat, well, a boat width given away.
Width down of the mark.
And yeah, it's not very important,
We absolutely could.
but it all counts.
See what these guys are going to do.
I've got a bunch of lasers coming in. So the leading laser is an opportunity to establish his position.
It's exciting here. Overlaps going on with two boats here, definitely. So clean rowing from the leader is going to put everybody in poop on, technical term.
So even with a laser, plate's gone down, kicker's come on, outboard's gone on, Cunningham's come on probably. There are things to do. Okay.
White width there.
Again, there's a width, so there's a touch.
73 no overlap.
73 to go in here and at least be in clean air. Too wide.
There we go. Put your nose in there, put your nose in there.
Tiller, please. Tiller, please.
Take away, well done at least. So the second laser going in has given us a boat length between the mark and the run line out. Good. Big tiller, 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 big tiller.
Okay, so here's one of the fascinations in life. We get so excited about pulling mainsails in, we forget to turn the boat.
Still not beating.
Still not beating.
Turn the boat.
Still not beating. Still not beating. And it's really easy to do. There's so much going on. It's so easy to forget. Turn the boat. Turn the boat, pull the sails in.
Big tiller.
Big tiller.
Big tiller. That's more better. And then we've just got the 2-tonner. Laser behind.
It's all a bit exciting. And be pulling that kite down for now.
Oh, it's all going to be good, this. Is it?
Okay, now the thing you must concentrate on apparently is pulling the boom in. So we've pulled the boom in. We're going to pull the jib in a minute.
Instead of sheeted in.
We've pulled the jib in as well, but we haven't turned.
Turning. There's a nice sunset picture anyway. So the laser comes inside here, turns at the mark. Oh, how did he get up here? How did he do that?
Again, so easy to do.
It's a nice sunny picture. Okay, and then lovely. Thank you very much, lads, to confirm it. Tacking. Beautiful arty picture here. And behind the quite some considerable margin. Leeward marks are amazing.
Fascinating day. Okay. A very, very, very short discussion on Leeward marks. They are so incredibly important. They set up everything around us. The mark is important because it sets up the next beat. It sets up securing our position in our race. It gives us the opportunity to overtake if we're behind, and it gives us the absolute opportunity, if we're in the lead, to keep people in their place. The practical problems, turning that corner. So if it's a big, wavy, windy day, you're not going to do it in a boat length. If it's flat water and light airs, yes, you can. What's around us? What's got to be done? How many things have got to be done on the boat to make it eligible to go around the Leeward Mark? How many people are in the way to stop us going around the Leeward Mark? And that bit. Other people, what a pain. Honestly, why do they rev up? Just to ruin your day. Every time you go around a Leeward Mark, you need to be in a position to work hard, to drive away, to get away from that nightmare. There could be a group behind you that you can extend from. There could have been a nightmare group in front of you that you're going to go into. So you've got to be working really hard in clean air and clean water. That finishes that bit. We're on the camera now.
Yeah.
We're on the camera now?
You are on the camera now.
We're on the camera now. That's very good. So slightly rushed discussion, but the Leeward Mark can make a massive difference. So I was sailing with Angus in Penzance in Ospey, and we're coming into the last Leeward Mark of a national championship race, and Andy is in the lead, doing a brilliant job, about 75 yards. We're coming down the reach, and I know that Andy's going to go off to the right-hand side of the race course, because he always does. He could point higher than us, so he could just get underneath us and hold us out, so he would beat us in that race. So the discussion was, before we got to that Leeward Mark, that we were going to tack at the mark, because I knew Andy wouldn't be expecting that. And even if he did tack when we tacked, he'd only be bow on bow with us. So we dropped the kite and tacked at the Leeward Mark. Andy tacked about 5 seconds afterwards, and we beat him in that race by, I don't know, 20 yards or something, enough. And that was the race that beat him in the championships. So the Leeward Mark is absolute key to everything that we're trying to do. It's so important, and there's only one Leeward Mark. Okay, if there's a gate, there's two, but you've still only got two choices. We need to go out and we need to practice. We need to practice that radius. We need to practice getting the kite down. We need to practice if we're in a laser. We need to practice how long it takes us to set it up for that Leeward Mark. That, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty close to all we need to say tonight. Thank you very much for coming again. Next week, it's strategy and tactics. Will be quite exciting. Bye.
Thanks.